Wow, Chanel has really done it again and shocked the luxury community with another price increase. And this is not just a small price increase, it is actually quite astronomical, especially considering the situation that we are in. So bag prices have gone up anywhere from 4 to 25%. I mean, 25%, that is just absolutely insane. Considering that we are in the middle of a pandemic and we have not experienced anything like this for the last 100 years. So I noticed that not only Chanel, but a lot of the luxury brands have actually started to increase prices. So in today's video, I'm just going to give a little bit of my personal opinion of why I think they are increasing prices and a little bit of my feeling as well, because I am quite annoyed, I guess, so to say, and I find it very, very insensitive of them to be increasing prices at a time like this. So anyways, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is how I feel about this. And just like many of you, I'm just wondering what is going on. Why are they increasing prices? And why would they choose a time like this where they would get a lot of flack from the luxury community or from their consumers for increasing prices? I mean, especially if you have been somebody who is saving up for that, or maybe needed to use some of the money for an emergency fund, if you have been displaced from work, or you have a loved one that got coronavirus or any sort of hospital expense like that, and you had to put a little bit of your luxury savings aside. This is really not the right time to be hit with a price increase. So I feel pretty bad about these luxury brands doing this at a time like this. And yeah, it seems like they're just sort of out of touch with reality. But at the same time, if you look at it from a business perspective, I can see why they might have chosen right now to increase the prices. So if you look at things on like a global economic level, and I don't mean to get very technical, but I will just show you a few graphs. If you look at the US consumer spending, you can see that because of the coronavirus, it is at an all-time low. But if you look at the US consumer savings, it is at a pretty decent level. And if you were just to compare these two graphs, you would think that the economy is pretty okay. Like, I mean, if you were to compare it to the 2007 or 2008 recession, we are actually at a much better level, or much more secure level not to go into a recession, especially also since the Fed has said something like they can just keep printing money and they are very, very far from running out of resources in order to support the US economy. So if I were a business person and I just saw this sort of graphs like this, and I'd be like, okay, so that means that my consumers have money to spend. They have been cooped up in their houses for the last 2 months, and they have a good amount of savings and they have nothing to spend on. So why don't I take advantage of that and increase the prices of my luxury goods so that they can come to my shop and go ahead and spend all of their money on my luxury stuff. So I think that may be one of the reasons why Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Tiffany & Co. and all of these other luxury brands are sort of starting to increase prices in order to take advantage of consumers who come out of this coronavirus and really just want to spend a little bit of their money that they have saved during this time. So the other reason why I think that these luxury handbag brands are okay with raising prices is because they are very much focused on the Asian market. And by Asia, of course, I mean China. I mean, how many of you have walked into one of these luxury houses and right away you'll notice that 80% of their consumers are Chinese? And it is no secret that China really does have great wealth right now. They have an influx of nouveau rich. They have really a lot of money to go around and spend. So all of these luxury houses are really catering to that market and really are trying to understand the clientele's thought that the more expensive something is, the more exclusive something is, the harder to get it is, the more it attracts the right sort of clientele that they want with the unlimited spending power that these luxury houses want. And I really find that it's kind of odd that they would do that, especially since they are faced with a lot of quality issues. I'm sure if you've gone through any of the purse forums, you know right away that Chanel's quality is so bad. Louis Vuitton has also had a lot of issues with the pochette métisse, with the palm springs, and so much so that they've actually changed the way that the palm springs functions now. But yeah, a lot of these luxury brands do have quality issues that they haven't resolved within their own manufacturing process. And I think because the Chinese consumer is a little less demanding than their Western counterparts, because Chinese consumers do tend to be a little bit less picky. So this has happened to me a few times in Chanel where I've had an SA try to push on me a defective item, and not really completely defective, but sometimes, you know, the flap will be a little bit crooked, and or the bag will just topple over because the base is not correctly done. And this is an issue that, you know, if you go through the forums, you will read a lot about these issues. But if I choose not to get the bag, they know that it's okay because there are like 10 other people behind me lined up waiting to get that bag. And I think because these luxury houses have really experienced that, or have really experienced very, very robust sales, they think that they can continue to do things like this by increasing their prices and weeding out those customers where they think will just be a little bit more complainy or expect a little bit more for their money's worth. So I think that these are the two main reasons why luxury brands have been increasing their prices despite the pandemic happening. And I think they are capitalizing on the fact that there will be a lot of spending in the near future. And yeah, just taking advantage of that because of course they do have a lot of lost sales right now. Whether I think it is right or wrong, I definitely am against a price increase, but of course I'm talking from a consumer side. At the same time, I think that Chanel is usually more conservative, so I'm quite surprised by this, especially with the passing of their creative director Karl Lagerfeld last year, and having a new creative director and not really knowing yet what is going to happen in the future. It seems kind of odd that they would increase price at such a critical time in their brand history. So I don't know, I find that as a brand, Chanel can be very, very conservative, but as a business entity, I actually think they're quite aggressive, especially considering that in 2018, I think their sales was around 9.8 billion. And we are talking about one brand here. It's not like Louis Vuitton, which is a conglomerate or has a whole bunch of different brands. This is a single brand. So that makes it like one of the top brands. It is not a publicly listed company, so you can't actually see all of their financial records, but that also means they do not have any dividends that they need to pay out to shareholders. So everything is actually retained earnings. And yes, I can see that as a business they would have lost money in the fact that they have to keep continually paying their employees during this pandemic. But just like a lot of the big businesses, there was no manufacturing going on. It's not like they were manufacturing bags that they couldn't sell, or producing bags from this season that they were not able to get rid of. I mean, it's just absolutely insane why Chanel would think of going ahead and increasing prices. I mean, okay, if you had maybe a little bit of a price increase, that would be okay or understandable, but to increase prices by like 25%, that is just really, really out of this world. Anyways, these are all just my own personal thoughts, and I just decided to put it into video format and yeah, just sort of do a little bit of a discussion. I hope you guys did enjoy this week's video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of the Chanel price increase? And I really just want to open up the discussion about like what you think the future of luxury holds for us as consumers. So let me know, comment down below, and if you are if you are somebody who is new to my channel, don't forget to press the subscribe button. Also do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye bye.